but you need the foundation to do that. So the next thing would be, okay, Gary, we've got to change our words, right? How many of us know that words are extremely powerful, right? That's the game right there. But let's say that I walk around and I say, but I can't. Now, the moment I say I can't, there's always going to be somebody in the room that says, but Gary, say you can. So I walk around saying I can till I'm blue in the face. The bottom line is if I still think I can't,
right,
even though I say I can, then I can't. So then, the words are important, but we've got to go a step further. So, I'm going to draw, this is going to be my foot. I'm not the best artist in the world, so here's my foot right here. So years ago, I had a motorcycle accident on my left foot here. A friend of mine, he has a house, and right around the house is a nice sharp road. The rain had just came in, the road was all wet. Everybody was riding his motorcycle. So I asked him, hey, can I ride your motorcycle? He goes, yeah. So I get ready to make the turn. Instead of adding to the brakes, I downshifted. Back tire locked up, went right like this, dropped on my left leg, and my left foot just drug my foot into the asphalt. Go to the hospital, and I can show it to you. I have 2 holes, 2 scars right in my foot. So the doctor, he gets a syringe, and I can feel the pain right now. Nervous system can't tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
He put a syringe right inside the tendons there. 1 wasn't enough. He did like 4 here and 4 more there. Why did he do that? Because he had to take his pinky, go in this hole, go underneath the skin, come out that hole, take a fat syringe full of saline solution, and squirt. What's he trying to squirt out? The asphalt.
Yeah.
Now, let's say he didn't do that, and he just washed it, bandaged it up, and said, head on out. You think I'm going to have an infection? You think if I didn't get it checked, I'd eventually have gangrene and lose a leg? Sure. So if we're just doing the breathing and just saying the words, we're not getting inside deep and cleaning it out. And that's why many times when we try to do something that we need to change, it keeps bringing its ugly head back and back again. So I'm not saying don't say positive words, but here's a warning for you. The more you say a positive affirmation, the less you believe it. That's why you keep saying it. Let me repeat that. The more you keep saying a positive affirmation, the less you believe it. That's why you keep saying it. Now, don't walk out of here and say, Gary says don't use positive affirmations. Absolutely, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you got to start there. If you say you can't and you want to make a change, you got to start with words. You got to start somewhere, right? So you're going to change the word. Now, if you keep saying I can, the more you keep saying the new affirmation, it's just a measuring rod to let you know you really don't want it yet. Believe it yet. Here's an aha moment for you. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if I asked you this rhetorically, you would probably not know the answer, and boy, do you need to. If you believe that for every belief we act on, we get a result. So if every belief we act on, we get a result, limited or not, how do you know that you bought a belief? How do you know that you bought a belief? Here's how you know. The more you say it, the less you believe it. So when you say it and you feel it, that's when you bought a belief. So now, like for example, you ever seen somebody on these roller coaster videos on YouTube, and they're like, yeah, straight down, and the person goes, I can't, it's going to be okay. They don't believe it's going to be okay because they keep saying it. Now, after they do it once, and if they're a real thrill seeker, that was fun, let's do it again. I'll guarantee you the second or third time, they don't say, I know I can do it, I got this. They got it, they believe it. They no longer have to say, I got this, I can do this. So when you are trying new things, for example, some of the things that Jean is sharing with you, how many of them, even one little thing that you learned in the last day or two, would be new to you? Yes or yes, right? So when you try something new, you're going to get some friction.
Come on.
The friction, you have to be careful that you don't validate that friction to say it doesn't work. You want to use that friction to let you know. If you've convinced yourself what he's shared with you in this particular scenario, whatever it is going to work, but you just don't feel comfortable doing it yet, you just have to hang on there long enough till you say it, do it, and what? Feel it. That's all you go for now. You're only going for the feeling. That's it. When you shift that way, the difference between learning to change and do the right thing to change the feeling is a lot different from I don't think this is going to work. I'm not going to try this anymore. This is not going to work. You see the difference? It's a total different. So now, when you're looking to see, so if I work with somebody on a particular scenario, I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, when you say I can, how much of it do you feel? So let's say they say I'm at a 6. Well, they're at a 6. The goal is to get them to a what? 10. A 10. Well, if you're at a 6, does that mean you give up? No, this is where you learn to play games with your mind instead of your mind playing games with you. So you think differently. You go, okay, I'm at a 6. Darn it. What can I do differently or better to get to a 7 or an 8 or a 9? That's a totally different fork in the road. Everybody with me on that? That's a game changer. So when you think this way, you're now guaranteed to get more results because your focus is totally different. All right. So that's basically, in a nutshell, those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you today. Maybe do a little Q&A if you want to do, Gene, or something like that. I don't want to, I mean, I could go on for hours and hours, and basically as fast as I speak, it's going to be like one day, it'd be like 10 days worth of stuff, and 10 days worth of stuff would be 100. All right, any questions, thoughts, ideas?
Gary's very uncomfortable with silence. Okay. So if there's anything, go ahead.
You said something about like trauma and pain, and you wanted to like basically make your brain not associate it with pain.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like pushing that down though? Like, don't you want to feel some stuff? Like, you want to have emotion to it sometimes?
Good question, and it depends. If you can associate pleasure to it, as crazy as it sounds, because it could be something really deep, how would you associate pleasure to that? Or change the story where it's not as painful, you won't need that. In some cases, depending on what the case is and the situation, and I would determine that in an assessment, I will determine if we need to go deeper. Sometimes a person has a behavior, they don't even know where they got it from.
Right.
I'll just make up something. Let's say somebody is afraid of a snake, just for example. Let's say that person, this can happen. Let's say that person was 2 years old, now they're, I don't know, 40, whatever, and when they were 2 years old, Mama and Daddy sat them in front of TV, they were watching a National Geographic show, and a little, well, not a little, a big snake, or a little snake, crawling across the screen on the National Geographic TV show. Baby thinks nothing of it, baby goes to bed that night, wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning, screams bloody murder, not old enough to let Mommy and Daddy know why they're screaming bloody murder, but they just had a dream of the snake swallowing them. That child can now be phobic for the rest of its life and not know why it's phobic. So in that particular case, all I know is one thing. That person has a negative association to that snake. They have a negative story to it, a negative association to touching it, looking at it, whatever. If I can change that association to where it's not negative, change happens. I'll give you a quick example if you'd like. A gentleman came to me, he had a massive anxiety issue, and he did happen to know where the anxiety issue came from. The anxiety issue came from years ago when he was working, doing woodwork of some kind, and he was getting I think it was an electric sander. He was sanding the woodwork down like crazy and just sanding it and sanding it. And then one of his bosses or supervisors came up to him and criticized him in front of everybody, and all of a sudden it just shut him down. And from that day on, he had this anxiety problem. He couldn't go out in public hardly, the whole 9 yards. So he brings me on, he hires me. So now I got to see, amongst other different strategies, how do I change that negative association? So I found out where it started from. If I can find that, don't have to, but if I can find that, I go back to it, and here's what I said to him. I said, okay, what we're going to do today, we're going to have you go to the grocery store, because he couldn't go to the grocery store without feeling like freaked out. You're going to bring your girlfriend with you, and what we're going to do is we're going to have you go in and buy strawberries and whipped cream. And then I had him picture that table he was sanding. She was on it with strawberries and whipped cream. He's got, and I see, you're laughing, he's laughing too. So now for all these years, he's been like, oh my God, this is so fearful. Look what this boss is, he's insulted me. But now he's just smiling because his girlfriend's on there with whipped cream and strawberries. So now again, that's just not enough to get him to change. Once I do a foundation where I'm going to spend, an hour or two laying the foundation, after that, boom, 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 boom. And these strategies are the same strategies that you would use in sales as well. Same strategies that you use with your team members. I mean, with your spouse, it goes on and on. Good question, though. Any other question? And then we'll wrap up.
I've heard before, I don't know if it's good advice, it seemed to be okay, like if something made you nervous or scared, that's a sign for you to try it. Something new or something you're not comfortable with, that kind of tells you to try it and challenge yourself or whatever, get used to trying stuff that's scary. Is there truth to that? Or is it
There
just-
is some truth to that. I say some because I don't know if I knew a specific situation, I'll tell you if it's good or not. Obviously, if it's being, and I'm being sarcastic here, but truthful, obviously if it's being at the cliff without a parachute and you're going to jump off it, you're going to feel scared, you wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
But if there's other things that are reasonable and it's something that's in harmony, here's the key. Is that feeling and going through that feeling in harmony with your goals? If it's not in harmony with your goals, why would you want to bother do it? Unless you feel the need that perhaps you should change the goal.
So you would start with having goals and then align anything else with that.
Yeah, ultimately I would find out if that feeling, pushing through that feeling, is in harmony with my values and beliefs.
Gotcha.
That's it. Like some people now, the big thing now is psychedelic drugs to get you to break through whatever. That is not in harmony with my values and beliefs. I get high off my own supply. I ain't doing psychedelic drugs. So I may feel uncomfortable. I would feel uncomfortable doing it. Now, if I change my values and beliefs, yeah, I think it'd probably be kind of cool. I don't know, but I don't care to do it because it's not in my values and beliefs. If it's in your values and beliefs, go for it. Yeah. So that's how. So that's why sometimes I'll have 5 people answer me or ask me the same question, and I'll answer the question 5 different ways because each person has a different set of core values and beliefs. So I'm very uncomfortable, especially on social media, without talking to an individual when somebody says, chat me out a question and answer that question on a chat. I don't even know what your core values and beliefs are to give you a good, honest answer to make sense for you. Does that make sense? So I don't even bother with it. So if somebody comes to me with a question, it's like after I do an event, I tell people, I know you're going to have some questions to keep in mind. There's the short answer and the long answer. It's like if you ask me how to fly an airplane. Well, there's a short answer is you push the stick forward, the houses get closer, you pull the stick back, the houses get bigger, right? Or smaller. So if you ask me a question, and even today, I'm going to hang with you for hours today. If you ask me a question, I'm going to go, that's one of those questions. In other words, I give you the short answer, you push down and the houses get bigger, but I'm going to need a lot more time for you. So that's how I like that. I'd rather be honest that way, right, than give you a bunch of, just think a little more positive, and when you I need more than that. And that's how I got into a lot of this, because I would read these motivational books and they'll say, just think positive. And I'm thinking, okay, so where's my core though? I got to change the core. I can't just say it's not going to be that bad. I got to believe it's not going to be that bad. How do I get to the point of believing it's going to be okay or it is okay? That's where the core is. All right? Anybody else? Going once.
When are you selling us?
Oh, okay. I'll go right to that if you like.
How much does it cost?
It's not a big deal.
Everybody wants to know this part, right?
I'm not a big on closing on something like this. I'm only here for a short period of time. I've got a program that what I'll do is it's 6 months or a year, and Gene will testify that corporations, and I don't do much speaking anymore, but typically it's 25K. I've now jumped it up to 40 to 50K for 90 hour and 15 minutes of my time to go in for an event. So I will do a 6-month program. It's a 30K program where I do an assessment on you and your company it's usually about 2 hours, and then we do a group follow-up once a week for the next 6 months. For a year, it's 50K, and I'll do for the first 3 people before I leave tonight that decide to do this, I will give you a free $3,000 all-inclusive vacation package to Sandals Resorts that you can take advantage of. So if you're interested in that, see me. I'll be happy to talk to you more about it. Before I take anybody on, I want to find out more about you to make sure I'm the right fit for you. You got to make sure you're the right fit for me as well. Camille is the one that manages a lot of that, so we'll chit-chat if you want to chat with me later on. If you want to bring me on and do this, I'll chat with you. If you don't want to do that and you want to ask me some questions, I have no problem with helping you on that. So don't feel I'm here that I won't help you if you don't want to get into my program, okay? That's not, so if you're here and you just want to chat with me about something you got and I can help you, that's why I'm here, that's what I love to do, all right? So if you have any questions on that, let us know. That's pretty much it.
Give it up for Gary Cox.
Hey.